everyone and welcome to a new Coach Tech Lab Guide. I'm Corentin Guinez, driver for Simmersian. Today we are on Spa-Francorchamps, a rainy Spa-Francorchamps for the week 13 and last week of the season 4 of 2024 for the Falcon Tire Sports Car Challenge. As you can see, we're using the Porsche 708 GT4. As usual, first I show you the hot lap and then we see the different stuff you have to know before starting this rainy week. So yep, let's get started. Alright everyone, so we are just here just before the start finish line. So here we are starting the lap, just cross the start finish line, and then we are heading into turn 1. So as you will see, turn 1 does look pretty much the same as what I would do on a dry track. Same racing line on the braking zone. Braking pretty much the same reference. I'm just braking at the 100 or close to the 100. So when the 100 goes by the A or B pillar, I never know how it's called, so I'm sorry for that. But yeah, when the 100 board is getting past, then I'm just going on the brake. As you can see, I'm going quite okay on the brake. I'm not going too deep because I don't want to get into the ABS. But yeah, as you will see on Delta, I'm braking around, yeah, around 85% maximum, I would say. But then I'm just, as you can see, releasing the brake as I'm getting into the corner, and then pretty much just before the apex, then I'm just going back on throttle, just around there. So yeah, as you can see, the yellow line represent the dry, the dry line. So as you can see, I'm just going a bit wide, especially on the entry. I'm not so wide compared to the dry near the apex, but yeah, especially on the entry, then it gives me a way better exit with the steering wheel being open earlier. So yeah, actually, just make sure you're not going too deep on the inside. But yeah, apart from that, I'm not too far away. As soon as you don't run the curb, I guess it's quite okay. But yeah, it depends as well how wet it's going to be. This time we are on moderate, so it's not so wet. But yeah, if you are facing heavy rain, maybe you have to go a bit wider in the in different corners around the track. But yeah, on moderate it doesn't feel too bad, so you're not too far away from what you would do on the on a dry. But yeah, second gear corner, and then on the exit, just make sure you are not running on the curb. So that's the main thing. But yeah, then getting by the T1, we're just going down to face a rouge now. So you just stay on the right, and then as soon as you are in the middle of the exit road or whatever it is, just start to turn to the left. So as you can see, middle of the exit road, turning to the left. And then as soon as I'm turning to the left, I'm just going to go on the brake. I will use the same line as what I would make on the dry, but this time I need to brake. I mean, of course, you are not braking on the dry, but I need to brake a little bit before entering the radio, and then I just stay a tiny bit wide, just trying to make sure I slow down the car. But then yeah, it's not too wet, so you can almost get back on the inside of the corner of the radio. If it's a bit more wet, I guess you're gonna have to stick a bit longer to the outside. But yeah, and then as you can see on throttle, trying to make sure I'm not taking too much curb on top of the radio, because as you can see, as soon as I clip the curb, then the car gets sideways. So it's not that big, but yeah, if I compare to the lap before, as you can see, this is a bit better radio, I guess. Overall, the lap is better for the third one, but yeah, as you can see, just like that, it's perfect because I also avoid the curb and the car doesn't move. So yeah, it's maybe worth half a tenth, but yeah, it's still a good amount of time around the around Spa, especially around a long track like this. Yeah, you in many corners you have here and there a few tenths or a few thousands, but yeah, at the end of the lap, it can make a big difference. So yeah. So back in the fastest lap of the session. So yeah, if we are checking this from Delta, I'm not braking that much. I imagine for the radio. So yeah, it's just about 10% on the entry. Then just a tiny bit of braking again when I'm close to be off the curb. And then as you can see, just going on throttle, you can see the difference on in the line, just a lot wider compared to the dry. And then same for the exit of the radio, just going wider. And same, as you can see, most of the time it's wider into the corner and tighter on the exit, because you don't want to get the curb and at the same time you don't want to get into the rubber. So yeah. Then we have the long came straight, so nothing to really worry about. It's yeah, just straight, so full flat out. And then we will head into Lecombe. So as you can see, I'm braking quite early compared to the dry if I'm checking on Delta. So you can see the speed difference being quite huge actually all around the track. But yeah, you can see the difference. I'm braking really early. So yeah, I don't know how much difference it has in terms of meters, but yeah, it's a good 10 meters maybe. So yeah, as you can see, braking around 60% or so on the wet, so I'm not braking so much. But yeah, like I said, if you are getting into the ABS, then you lose a lot of braking performance. So yeah, it's better to brake a bit less. So then it gives you as well more rotation, because yeah, on the dry, on the wet, you're already struggling with the grip. So yeah, if you arrive with too much speed and then too deep on the ABS, then you have absolutely no chance to take the corner. So yeah, as you can see, into the corner, I'm just going a tiny bit wider into the corner, but I almost take the same line through this part, except the last corner of Les Combes, where I'm just going a bit wider. The first part is quite a bit the same. So if you are checking this from the car, I'm just braking at 125, I guess. Oh no, wait, it's 150 then. I thought it was 150. So yeah, around 150. Just going on the brake, as you can see, around 60%. I will drop to third, and I will keep third for quite a long, actually, into the corner. Now I think I dropped to second. Yeah, I dropped to, wait. Yeah, I dropped to second when I'm actually getting on the curb. Then I put the left wheels on the left side, so as you can see, it gives the car the right angle into the car. It makes the car rotate, basically, as you can see. It puts the car into the right line, because if I just put the left wheel just on the curb and not on the inside, the car will just understeer massively just right there. So I will end up going really wide on the exit of this one. But yeah, the problem is that I need to be to the left. I need to put the car to the left for the last corner of Les Combes. So yeah, just better to put the left wheels on the very inside of the corner. Then up to third, and I will take this corner into third gear, just slowing down quite early for this one, because of course it's going to get a bit understeery. So yeah, I want to make sure I'm not going into the corner with too much speed, which makes sense. And yeah, as you can see, not going on the brake on the dry, but yeah, just a bit of braking on the entry. As you can see, releasing throttle as well earlier. So yeah, just a bit of braking, and then once I'm into the corner just before the apex, going back on throttle, and of course need to be patient to not go too wide on the exit. But yeah, you can still take quite some curb compared to the others. This curb is, I guess it's because this curb is flat compared to those ones, for example, this one or the one out of T1. They are a bit more shaped. I don't know if it's the right word, but yeah, it's not flat. It's proper curbs. So yeah, that's why those ones, I guess, are a bit more usable for us on the wet. So yeah. So what's third gear out of this one, getting out of the curb, and then we are entering Brussels corner. So using the same line on the entry as a dry. The only difference is that as you will see, I will brake a bit earlier. So just braking a bit earlier, staying on the same line. And compared to the dry, as you can see, I'm going really, really wide. I'm not trying to get close to the inside because you have a lot of rubber there. So yeah, it's the idea is not to go really, really wide. And as you can see, there is still some gap to the white line, which is this gray line on the outside. But yeah, I'm not getting anywhere near the inside. So yeah, as you can see, just before the curb, I'm braking, so maybe just 5 meters away from the curb. Just going on the brake. I will drop to second for this one. So as you can see, on the brake, trying to be kind on the brakes to find the rotation. I don't think I'm braking too much for this one. Yeah, it's just less than 60%, and then as you can see, the more I'm going into the corner, the less I'm braking, so I'm raising the brake to find the rotation. As you can see, with second, and then I just play with the throttle, trying to make sure I'm not going too early full throttle, because of course then I will just understeer. So the idea is not to, of course, ruin everything you've done on the entry. So yeah, just trying to get some taps on the brake, on the throttle, to maybe rotate a tiny bit the car. But then once the car is facing the exit the right way, then you can go on throttle. Just need to make sure you're not going to heavy on throttle on the exit, because of course you will get on some rubber, I would say, from the racing line that takes the inside of the corner. So yeah, you will cross a bit of rubber. So that's why you need to make sure the car is almost fully straight, at least the steering fully straight, to go back full throttle. So yeah, just make sure you're not being too aggressive. What I mean, that's what I meant out of Brussels. Then yeah, you put third out of the corner, and then you move to the right. Then it's pretty much the same approach as the last corner of Lecombe into no name or speaker corner or whatever you call it. When the car is on the right, at least when the car is close to the right, there is no board sign. I'm braking quite early, to be fair for this one. I'm not trying to brake too late. So yeah, I guess as soon as you get close of the, like on the bottom left side of the windshield, you have the beginning of the moto, not MotoGP, but the endurance bike layout. So then when it's down the left side of the windshield, then you can start to brake. I guess this is I'm doing this one pretty much by instinct, but yeah, it seems like it does match the beginning of the curb down the left side of the windshield. So yeah. Then you just stay with third for that one. As you can see, you are going a bit wider compared to the dry. You are not so far away from the dry. So yeah, just make sure you are not going too wide because it has quite a nice grip, I would say, in the first half of the track. So yeah, there is no need to go crazy wide. And at the same time, it gets tight on the exit of this corner. If we are checking from the inside, third gear, it gets a bit tight, of course. And the fact is that, yeah, on the dry you can go wide as well. So yeah, you have to make sure you're not running too wide into the corner, because of course as well, if you run too wide, you will end up with the need of slowing down a lot more than what I'm doing. So yeah, you are better arriving with less speed, I would say, on the entry than carrying a lot of speed into the corner on the entry. Then you need to slow down a lot the car mid-corner. And then yeah, the exit is too bad because you will accelerate again with less speed. So yeah, by braking a bit earlier, it's a bit better because you can control a bit more the speed into the corner, and yeah, then it makes your way to the exit a lot easier, and with a lot more chance to have more speed on the exit. So yeah, as you can see, just trying to make sure, of course, you're not running the curb, but yeah, it makes sense. And on the exit, just trying to make sure I can open the steering as well as I can. Full throttle when the steering is open or close to open, but at that point it almost feels like the steering is fully open. And then same as the exit of Lecombe, you can run on this curb because it doesn't feel too bad. The car still has a decent traction. So yeah, but of course, on the dry, I think I'm close to have the four wheels. When I mean off the track, it's on the right side of the white line, even if it's quite close, I guess. So I still maybe have the left wheels on the white line, but anyway, if you do the same on the wet, the car will just lose all the traction and all the grip. So yeah. Then we are heading into Pouhon double left. So we'll use the same braking line as usual. So well, not completely, because on the dry, as you will see on Delta, I'm a bit more to the right. So I'm using the right wheels. I'm putting the right wheels on the curb. So it's not completely the same, but it's quite the same, I would say. So yeah, it's not like if I was completely in the middle of the track. I am close to the line, but of course without touching the curb, because if you touch the curb on the brake on the entry, then you will lose the car. But yeah, apart from the fact that I'm not running the curb, you just stay on the right side of the track, and then I'm just braking when the curb begins on the right side. So it's pretty much the 95 meter if we want to be precise. It's just the time it after the 100 meter. So yeah, as you can see on the brake, I'm not braking so much. It's just about, if we are checking at the tie, just about maybe 30% or something. It's not so much. Yeah, it's perfect. 79%, I believe I've seen. Yeah, 79%. So as you can see, it's not that much. And then same for the first part of Pouhon. Just go a bit wider, not so wide. I think if it's more wet, you have a chance to go a bit more wide, I would say. But yeah, just like that, it was quite okay. And yeah, you do the same at Pouhon. And on the exit of Pouhon, you don't go too wide on the exit to avoid the curb, even if it's quite the same curb as this one, for example. But yeah, I don't know why, but it has less grip actually, so you have to avoid it. I think I stay with fourth, so I dropped to third. I dropped to third, so yeah, as you can see on the brake, and then very early on throttle. The grip is quite nice in the middle of the track, so yeah, surprisingly it's quite nice. I mean, I remember doing the Spa 24 hours with a lot of rain. So yeah, I had the racing lines pretty much in mind. But yeah, it's a bit different. I don't know if it's because it's the 2024 version of the track, or if it's because it has less rain. But yeah, it seems like you can run less wider. So yeah, would be nice to try with more rain, because this time it's moderate. But yeah, actually, like I said, I believe at the beginning of the lap, you don't need to go massively wide. It's not massively far away from the dry line. So yeah. Then of course, just make sure you're not running too deep on the curb. Even if you get some curb, do not get too wide, because there is a chance that you end up being stuck on the curb, and then you will most likely end up in the gravel and the gravel trap and maybe the tire wall. Now you have a gravel trap, so yeah, maybe you will stop before the tire wall. But back in the days, especially, and I remember doing the Spa 24, if you were doing that mistake riding the curb, then of course it's you don't have any grip on the runoff, and you had no gravel trap. So yeah, it was a one-way travel to the to the tire wall. So yeah, but now, yeah, if you make that mistake, at least you have the gravel trap. But anyway, you won't make any mistake. You can make sure you won't make any mistake, trust me. So yeah, by not going too wide, you won't make that mistake. So yeah, just trying to make sure I'm going off the curb if I'm going on the curb as early as I can. And then as you can see, just trying to maintain as much throttle as I can, just trying to make sure I can carry the speed. I'm not going so wide. As you can see, I'm close to be in the middle of the track. So yeah, I mean, yeah, maybe if you draw a line right there, maybe I'm still a bit more to the second half of the track. So yeah, I'm not completely on the right, but yeah, I'm at least the majority of the car is on the right. But yeah, as you can see, then just trying to make sure I'm not running too much curb. As you can see, it's tough. I run the curb because of course you want to carry speed. I haven't. It doesn't sound like I had wheel spin on the curb, so I guess it was quite okay. I guess it's because I haven't put the left wheel on the white line. It was really close actually, but yeah, if you can avoid the curb, it's always better anyway on the wet. But yeah, as just like this, it was fairly okay, I would say. Then you move to the left. You will brake the same on the same line you would do on the dry. The only difference is that you are going to brake just way earlier this time. You can see the difference of speed. I'm just braking right there on the wet, and I'm starting to brake just right there on the dry. So you see the difference is actually huge. It's just about, I don't know, maybe 30 meters or something. So yeah, it's massive actually. But yeah, just braking when you can see the tire marks on the right side or close, when I'm just maybe getting past the tire marks on the right. It's really, maybe it's not easy to see that on the lap guide, but yeah, if you are driving on your own, you will maybe see the tire marks on the right side. They are on the right side of the track. You don't have any of them on the left. So when you see the tire marks on the right, you can start to brake, and then you use the same line. Of course, you avoid the curb. You can take some curb maybe on the dry, but I'm not even sure I'm really using much of that curb on the left. But yeah, dropping to third. I think I'm dropping to second. Yes, I do. Dropping to second. As you can see, just going wide. Like I said, I'm not going massively wide. I'm not trying to look at the curb on the outside. But yeah, as you can see, maybe trying to stay in the middle of the track. Then I try to have a tight exit in the first part of the pit path, because then it gives me a better approach for the second part of the pit path. Pit path is the right and left, just before Campus and then Paul Frère. So yeah, as you can see, just going a bit wide, maybe middle of the track. Then just middle of the track, going on throttle, trying to get the rotation, and then same. I'm not going as wide actually on in the second part. I think it has more grip in the second part of PFAF. So yeah, compared to the two, yeah, this second one has a lot more grip. So that's why I'm diving a bit more, a bit earlier into the corner. To be fair, if I do the same line in the first one, it doesn't work, I think. So yeah, second one, you can dive into the corner a bit earlier. So yeah, of course, you have to make sure you're not going too fast. So you just release the throttle on the entry. And then, of course, you are braking a tiny bit, as you can see. When we reach the corners, yeah, as you can see, I'm just putting a bit of braking. It's not massive inputs of braking, but it's just about enough to slow down a bit the car, and at the same time get a bit of rotation. So yeah, and then once the car is settled and once the car is on the right line, you are not going too wide on the exit, then just go on throttle. You can get a bit of curb on the exit, but yeah, this time I avoided it. So yeah, like I said, when you can avoid, it's just better. You lose less traction, you have more speed. So yeah, it's when you can avoid, just avoid it at all cost. Then for the campus corner, just move to the left. You use the same braking line or racing line on the entry as the dry. So as you will see on Delta, it's not a big difference. It's the same line. The only difference is mid corner, really, where I'm going a bit wider. But yeah, as you can see on the entry, it's exactly the same. I'm going a tiny bit wider on the entry because on the dry I'm using a bit of curb. But as you know, we are not using curb on the on the wet on the entries. A tiny bit on the exit, but yeah, on the entries we are really trying to avoid the curbs. And yeah, we third, just braking before. You can see like the grass is missing a tiny bit just before the curb because I guess some cars went with the scanner. Or I don't know how iRacing makes it, but yeah, maybe because of the cars went into the grass. The grass now is missing, so it's a bit of dirt or whatever. I'm just braking at the beginning of this, so yeah, as you can see, when it gets a bit more visible, I'm just going on the brake down to third, and then I'm just trying to slow down the car. I'm releasing the brake, just trying to slow down the car, and when I feel that the grip is there, going on throttle, and then as you can see, very early on throttle and almost full throttle as well. The car had the grip, so when you feel that the car has a grip, you can trust it and just go for it, really. But yeah, that's all the important. That's why it's very important to be kind on the entry, because of course it makes the job a lot more difficult than if you arrive with too much speed. So this is all the importance to really be careful on the entry by braking a bit earlier, and yeah, that's the thing, really. As you can see, using the curb before Paul Frère, and yeah, out of the curb, releasing the throttle, going on the brake, tiny bit of brake, and then as you can see, going on throttle, not going too wide actually. If we are checking on Delta, I'm going a bit, yeah, I'm going a tiny bit wide on the entry and mid corner, but then as you can see, it does match pretty much what I'm doing on the dry, except the fact that I'm not going as wide on the curb on the exit. So yeah, I don't know if I'm taking the curb. Yeah, I'm getting a tiny bit of curb, but yeah, as you can see, it's for a really brief moment. So yeah, it's not like if I was using like the wall curb on the exit. That's not the case. So yeah, third gear corner, and then up to fourth when I'm facing the exit, just before running on the curb. And yeah, now we are heading into Blanchimont. So for this this part before Blanchimont, I guess it depends of how wet it is. Once again, if I take the example of the Spa 24 hours, it was insanely wet, so I had to go wide on this left one. So I guess it depends of how wet it is. If it's really really wet, I think the right line would be to go around the outside. It's not so wet, so the car was really stick to the road. It was creepy, so yeah, you could stay on the inside. But yeah, if you encounter like really heavy rain, I think the right line could be to go around the outside. So yeah, just to let you know. Then we are heading into Blanchimont, so I'm braking quite early. As you can see, when you can sort of see the track getting darker because maybe of the braking that some cars are using, and yeah, I don't know for what reason, but yeah, as you can see, it gets a bit darker there. So as soon as the car is straight, I'm just going on the brake. I'm trying to slow down, and like I said before, as much as I can on the entry. But then, as you can see, I can go really aggressively on throttle and carry the momentum. So yeah, of course, if I'm braking later, that's great because I'm going to have so much speed on the entry. I would gain a lot of time, but yeah, for what cost? Because uh, then I will just have a terrible exit. I won't have as much speed on the exit. So yeah, to me it's better to slow in, fast out than doing the opposite. So yeah, that's for me how it felt. I did the mistake actually at the beginning of the session, trying to carry a lot of speed on the entry and trying to stay out there on around the outside. But yeah, at the end of the day, I'm still off on the exit. So yeah, just brake early. Just make sure you slow down the car enough, and then you can just go solid on the throttle and yeah, get the momentum on the exit. So yeah, as you can see on the entry, just going a bit wider on the dry. That makes sense because I want to avoid to use the paint stuff on the right, and yeah, just a bit wider into the corner, and same, just not going as wide on the compared to the dry on the exit, and yeah, that's pretty much it, I guess. Just getting a bit of curb, but just make sure you're not running the four wheels on the curb, otherwise it's going to feel terrible. But I guess you know that. And then last chicane, so I will just brake after getting past the white line, so you can see that white line. Getting by the white line, just going on the brake. I'm not going to brake that much. I think it will be pretty much the same, maybe 70% or something. Just let me check. Yeah, it's around 60. So as you can see, I'm really not braking that much actually. I'd expect a bit more, but yeah, I'm not braking so much compared to the dry where I'm reaching almost 90%. So yeah, it's just about making sure I can avoid the ABS and yeah, get the rotation on the way in. So as you can see, the line is pretty much the same on the first part of the chicane, trying to make sure I get the curb and especially um, if I can get the IS curb, it's great as well because it gives the car some rotation. But yeah, I found it a bit worse on the new version. On the old version, it was really nice, I think, to get the I curb. But yeah, now on the 24, it seems like it makes the car bounce a bit too much. And of course, you want to stay quite tight on the exit of the first part of the chicane, so to have a good run for the exit of the chicane. So yeah, to me, as soon as you take the curb, I think it's quite nice. It finds the grip quite nicely. So yeah, just make sure you don't miss the curb, and then yeah, like I said, second gear, just make sure you have a sort of tight exit on the first part of the chicane. Uh, no, I mean the first part. Yeah, tight exit in the first part of the chicane, and then you have a better run for, of course, for the exit of the chicane because you have less steering angle and you have less speed to decrease to get by this corner. So yeah, that's the thing, and you can see that from Delta going a lot wider on the entry, and then I have a tighter exit, so less steering angle to put, or maybe yeah, a bit less steering angle because I put most of the steering angle just right there, but then the steering is a bit more open. So yeah, at the end of the day, it does match um the dry in terms of steering angle, I guess, because I'm tighter on the entry, but wider on the exit, and I'm wider on the entry and tighter on the exit. at the end it's pretty much the same. And yeah, second gear corner, just trying to make sure I can open the steering as early as I can. Sorry, and we are done for the lap around Spa. Alright everyone, so we are done for today and for the season actually. I hope you enjoyed this season and you learned a lot from that one. Yeah, don't forget to like and subscribe to the Coach Dev Academy channel and join the Discord server if you have any questions about all the work we are making. And from now, I see you next season. See you next time. Bye bye.